What are the guys at the station gonna say?
We eat burgers every shift,
So what are they gonna say?
it's not going to be fun. It's looking good.
And are you okay with them busting your balls?
It happens anyhow, so let's do it, right?
Okay, let me set up the first episode of the season for you. It is week 1 of the new year, and I wanted to check in with you. Hopefully, provide some motivation to either help you maintain or start your Plant Strong lifestyle as we enter into the new year, and also share some updates on what I've been up to since we talked last. Welcome, my Plant Strong brothers and sisters, to Season 2 of the Plant Strong podcast. I want to give you a heartfelt thank you for all of your support during Season number 1. We had some very impressive downloads, and in fact, Apple Podcast named us a bestseller in 2 categories: Best New Show of 2019 and Nutrition. So thank you for that. With the momentum that we have going into Season 2, we've been able to marshal up some really amazing talent and celebrities and scientists for Season 2. So should be a lot of fun. I want you to know that our goal and our mission is to drown out all of the noise and all the confusion that's out there and send you right to the bullseye when it comes to the science and when it comes to the tools and the resources that are going to allow you to live your best Plant Strong life. So again, thank you. Huge appreciations. For those of you that don't know, my name is Rip Esselstyn. I am the author of The Engine 2 Diet, and I'm also the founder of Plant Strong by Engine 2. I used to be a firefighter with the City of Austin, Texas. Before that, I was a professional triathlete, and I was inspired going back to 1984 by my father, Dr. Caldwell B. Esselstyn Jr., and his groundbreaking research at the famed Cleveland Clinic to show that you can reverse heart disease with a whole food, plant-based diet. On my journey, I have helped thousands and thousands of people not only reclaim their lost health, but also burn away the pounds, bring down cholesterol levels, and stabilize blood sugar levels. It's one of the greatest honors of my life. I want you to know that one of the goals of not only the Plant Strong podcast, but also across all of our Plant Strong channels, is to show you how you can adopt this lifestyle at home. And we're going to show you countless examples of people that have been able to turn their health around with the power of the foods at the end of their forks. For those of you that don't know about Season 1 of the Plant Strong podcast or how it ended, it's all about our Bronx firefighter, Joe Inga, whose health was failing, reached out to me for help, and we marshaled together all these experts to really not only help Joe Inga, but every Joe and Jane that's out there that needed help reclaiming their lost health. And one of the things that Joe talked about was how he only thought that superheroes did triathlons. And so that was our end goal, right? In August of 2019, we all convalesced at the Esselstyn family farm in upstate New York, and we created our own triathlon. We all competed in it, including Joe, and Joe absolutely nailed it. If you haven't listened to Season 1, I highly recommend you go back and you listen to those episodes. Now, many of you have asked me, how in the world is Joe doing? And I want you to know, I went to New York City about a month and a half ago. I made it a point to have lunch with Joe. We went to Sweet Greens, and here it is. So you're looking more svelte, more handsome, more like firefighter Studley than ever. Where are you now, like in early November?
Since we finished the podcast and stuff, I'm down almost 60 pounds now, and I just feel amazing. So my energy levels, obviously, everything is up. Yeah, I'm just feeling great, and now I'm enjoying, like, since Game Changers came out and everything. Now I'm enjoying all the chaos and everything, and all the naysayers and all the people that are watching it. And you know, for 9 months, a lot of people didn't care, and now they're picking my brain about a lot of it. So it's great.
Now, when you say you're down 60 pounds, like, what's your latest weight? Are you like
165? 165. I started at 213, so I'm about 60 pounds. I went from 40-inch waist to a 32 is starting to fit loose. I went from almost a double X shirt to a medium. That's amazing. Lost a lot of weight.
What are the guys at the firehouse saying now?
They're asking me a lot of questions now, because now they're actually watching Game Changers and stuff, and they're blown away by it. And now everybody's trying to pick my brain. I actually went to the firehouse. I was working in the different firehouse the other day. Yeah. They played Game Changers, I heard, for 3 days straight in the firehouse. And there's like 6 guys that are on board for it. When I walked in the firehouse the other day, your book, there were 3 of them on the table.
Really?
There were 3 guys reading your Engine 2 book.
So since February, you feel like you've been at this now for a good 8-9 months. You feel like it's going to stick this time?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually scared to go back because I know what would be coming down the line, but I can't imagine how sick I would probably get, like, just to readapt all the other stuff back into my diet. So, and I'm just feeling too good. Why would I know what waits for me on the other side, and I'm not willing to make that jump.
As you can tell, Joe Inga is doing phenomenally well and continues to put his best fork forward every single day. In season 2 of the podcast, you're going to hear not only from Joe Inga, but you're also going to hear from a slew of other firefighters, including Kevin Duffy, who was on season 1 of the Plant Strong podcast. And in fact, his interview was so inspiring that it inspired Keith, a lieutenant with the FDNY Fire Department, to not only drop T-bones for tofu, but also to start training for his first Plant Strong triathlon. I was lucky enough to marshal together all these firefighters at the FDNY Fire Academy, and we had a really open conversation about why this lifestyle is not fully embraced by the firefighter culture and why it is so difficult. And if it's difficult in a firehouse, I would imagine it's also difficult in your house. I can't wait to share this conversation with you. Hopefully you've seen the Game Changers documentary by now, and as predicted, it is pulling the plant-based conversation right to center stage. It had its worldwide theatrical release in September of 2019, and it had its really worldwide digital release on Netflix in October of 2019. It is shattering the world's most dangerous myth, which is most people think that they need meat for strength, for protein, and for optimal health. And nothing could be further from the truth. I encourage you to go out, watch it, and share it. So the City of Pittsburgh, the Steel City, they reached out to us to do a Engine 2 7-day rescue challenge, not only with their city employees, but specifically targeting police, fire, and EMS and their families. And we aptly called this whole campaign The Heart of a Hero. Now let's drop in on the event stage as I explain the 7-day challenge guidelines. And speaking of the challenge, I want to challenge you, the listener, to take the challenge at home. I would encourage you to check out the show notes for a free download of the 7-day rescue. Also, be sure to check out the video version of this episode that's now available on our Plant Strong YouTube channel. So we are here in the city of Pittsburgh. Right now we're at Union Project Hall, where all the activity is going to be happening here in about an hour and a half. And we're going to be launching something called the Heart of a Hero campaign. We're going to be working specifically with emergency personnel,
with the City of Pittsburgh, firefighters, police officers, EMS, and we're going to show them or give them an on-ramp to this lifestyle so they can see with their own eyes what can happen with the power of a fork day after day, day after day, day after day for 7 days, and what it can do to alter your weight, your lipid panel, potentially getting you off any medications that you're on, all these things. Mental well-being, all the intangibles like constipation, energy levels, sleep, IBS, all that stuff, greatly improved. So, this is the first of its kind, never been done before by a city to launch a campaign like this, and we're just super excited to have this be the launching ground and the template that we can then take to other cities across the country and give back to these heroes that are constantly putting it on the line for us. And so we want all these emergency personnel to be fit not only for duty, we want them to be fit for life.
I like it. Wow, what can I say? The inspiration of the heart of a hero, you are in for a treat. I'm just excited that there are so many employees of you from various departments in the city that are taking part in this initiative. It definitely is serving as an example that other cities, we hope, will follow, right? And let's welcome to the stage, Rip Esselstyn.
And I want you to know that I truly believe that everybody in this room can do anything for 7 days. And so just think of this as an experiment where you are pushing your health to levels that you probably never thought were possible. All right? And we can have a lot of fun doing this. You're not going to believe the amount of support that you're going to get. And so let me just dive right in. So what in the world is a Jiffy Pop popcorn doing hanging from a nail above a doorway in a house? So this is what we in the fire service affectionately call a redneck smoke detector. Now, I would propose to you that this is not a very effective smoke detector, right? And the analogy that I want to make with you is that redneck smoke detector is no more effective at protecting you from fire and smoke than the standard American diet is at protecting you from chronic Western diseases. And there's 5 chronic Western diseases. I'm going to name them off for you because I think it's important that you know what they are. But there's 5 that comprise 75% of this country's $3.9 trillion healthcare bill. Number 1 is heart disease. Number 2 and 3 are breast cancer and prostate cancer. Number 4 is type 2 diabetes. And number 5 is obesity. Those 5. And I would submit to all of you that all 5 of those are either preventable or can be slowed down or reversed with the program that we're going to be showing you tonight and over the next several weeks. So what does the standard American diet look like, and why is it such an abomination? Well, close to 58% of America's caloric consumption is coming from processed and refined foods: white bread, white rice, white flour, chips, ding-dongs, Twinkies, right? Coca-Cola, all that stuff. Another almost 35 to 40% is coming from meat and dairy products. All right? And then a paltry 6% is coming from whole plant-strong foods. So our goal over the 7 days that we're going to be doing this experiment together is to basically bring that around so 100% of our caloric consumption for 7 days is coming from whole, nutritious, plant-strong foods, right? We're not going to be eating weak food. We're going to be eating strong food exclusively, and you're not going to believe how fast the body responds. We want you to enjoy, like it says here, the simple 7. So all the vegetables that you can eat, right? The green leafies, the potatoes, the squash, the bell peppers, the mushrooms. Knock yourself out. Whole fruit, okay? Whether it's fresh or frozen. We don't care. We love frozen. Frozen is picked at the peak of its ripeness. It's very nutritious. It's cheap. It doesn't go bad. Intact whole grains. We're a huge fan of all these. Brown rice, oats, quinoa, farro, bulgur. We also don't mind 100% whole grain bread, but we want to make sure it's 100% whole grain bread. And if you're going to do bread, I want you to do open face sandwiches. We're not putting the lid on there because it's too calorie dense. And if your goal is to lose 40 to 150 pounds over the next year, then just forgo the bread. Instead, use like a collard wrap or a romaine lettuce or something like that, but just forgo the bread. You don't need it. We don't mind pasta. Legumes make the world go round, right? They are a wonderful source of everything. They fill you up. They're satiating. Black beans, white beans, pinto beans, lentils, you name it. Hummus. We love herbs and spices, vinegars, hot sauces, mustard, ketchup, barbecue sauce. We do got to be a little bit careful about reading labels. And then when it comes to beverages, we're drinking water. If you got to do coffee, let's make sure it's black. And we don't mind unsweetened plant-based milks on your cereals. Now, one of the things that I would encourage you all to do is start eating green leafies at every meal, whether it's spinach, whether it's bok choy, whether it's collard greens, mustard greens, kale. Find something that you like, and we ideally want you to do 5 to 6 fist-sized servings a day. I don't care if it's raw, cooked, steamed, you name it. But these green leafies are true superheroes. They're calorie light, they're nutrient dense, and they're going to allow your endothelial cells to absolutely sparkle. Let's see. You guys know you're avoiding all animal products and all animal byproducts. That includes chicken and fish that many vegetarians eat. It includes eggs, the yolk and the white. We're also staying away from juices and smoothies for the 7 days because we want you masticating and chewing your calories. When it comes to nuts, I don't mind if you do one small fist-sized serving of walnuts a day. But they are the most anti-inflammatory friendly nut out there. So we're okay with walnuts, but almonds, pistachios, cashews, we don't want you snacking on those things. They're too calorie dense, they're too inflammatory in nature, and most people can't moderate their nut intake. Same thing with nut butters. All coconut products. Coconut has more saturated fat than any food on the planet. It's 91% saturated fat. And despite what the paleo and the keto people say, the science does not support saturated fats, especially when you're trying to prevent heart disease, type 2 diabetes, lose weight, and reverse autoimmune diseases. Now, when it comes to avocados, it might be easier for you guys just to eliminate them altogether. If you want to do them, we want you to limit it to about 1/4 to 1/2 a day, just because they're so calorie dense. When it comes to walnuts, I already talked about that, 1 small handful. Seeds, we don't mind flaxseed meal, but it's got to be ground. And we don't mind chia seeds or hemp seeds. And dried fruit, if you want to do a little bit of raisins in your cereal, that's fine. But we don't want you snacking on dates and figs and prunes and these guys. They're just too calorie dense, okay? And again, they're not a whole food. They're dried, they're processed, they don't have their water. This is the varsity program. The 28-day program that I introduced in 2009 in my first book, looking back at it, that's kind of the JV program. So I am asking you guys for 7 days to go all in and do the varsity program.
So as I'm sure you can imagine, most of the people that came to the kickoff event had really no idea what they were getting into. After the initial orientation meeting, many of them were super pumped up and optimistic about what they had just heard. Many, rightly so, were very skeptical, right? I mean, they'd never heard any of this information before. It was like telling them that the sky was green and the grass was blue. So you're going to hear exactly what people thought after the break. I want you to know that we have a new title sponsor for season 2 of the Plant Strong podcast. It is Wild Earth plant-based dog food. I'm super proud to be associated with these guys. As seen on the Shark Tank, they believe truly that there's a better way to not only feed your pets, but also to help the environment and save the lives of unnecessarily slaughtered animals. I want you to know that these guys are in complete alignment with our values. And what I like is that they're also changing the way people think about nutrition for their pets. So we love people that think outside the box. Also be aware that throughout this season, we're going to be sharing some expert advice from their chief veterinary officer, a guy named Dr. Ernie Ward. He's the author of The Clean Pet Food Revolution that was just released December 9th. And the amount of science and research that went into this conscientious brand is really phenomenal. I want you to know that if you love your dog as much as I love my dog, I would encourage you to try Wild Earth Plant Strong Dog Food. Go ahead and visit wildearth.com or amazon.com and use the code PLANTSTRONG for a 40% off your first order. The reality is that we live in a society in 2019 that does not really in any way, shape, or form support this lifestyle. Everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, you've got fast food restaurants, you got drive-thrus, you got people that are shouting at you, you're not going to get enough protein, if you eat plant-based. And so we're going to teach these City of Pittsburgh, emergency first responders how to rise above all of the noise, how they can be the absolute best versions of themselves. And, ultimately, we want these emergency first responders to be fit not only for duty, but also for life.
It's going to be tough. It's not easy to, go in there and say, oh, I'm a vegan or I eat plant-based. But I know a couple guys that do it. They don't have trouble. They don't give them a hard time. The guys in your line know that they eat plant-based.
Right.
They normally do their own thing, or they try to cook in a way that they can, appease everybody.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll become more and more the status quo, and firefighters will realize that it gives them a leg up and it allows them to be the best firefighter they can be. And anyway, I'm really proud of you guys, right? And hang in there, and let's get you over to the good side.
I'm going to give it a try.
You're welcome. Now, tell me, what's your name again?
Megan.
Now, Megan, and you're a police officer.
Yeah, Zone 5.
Right. And why are you deciding to do the challenge?
Just need something different.
Yeah.
I've been a meat eater, Western PA, my whole life. I just, I'm tired all the time. I work night turn. We work crazy schedules. I just want to give something different try.
What's your biggest concern?
Not eating meat.
Not eating.
I mean, when you're used to something and that's what you do.
Well, what does meat look like for you over the course of a day?
Pretty much every meal.
Like what? What do you have for breakfast?
Usually eggs. I do have oatmeal, which is good. I've had steel cut oats. I like it with applesauce. Okay. I have a sandwich, burritos, things like that, chicken. I mean, we eat. Right. And with my schedule, with court, everything, you just kind of eat and go. It's all,
And so besides you're concerned about meat.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you're also concerned about protein?
Yes, protein. Yeah, protein intake. Yeah. And preparing meals is another concern because I don't always have the time to do that. But I took 3.
What are the guys at the station gonna say?
We eat burgers every shift.
So what are they gonna say?
not going to be fun. It's looking good.
And are you okay with them busting your balls?
It happens anyhow, so let's do it, right?
You think that you could get any of the other firefighters to join you between now and Monday?
Yeah, I've been around.
I don't know.
Do you have that kind of sway?
I'd like to think so.
How long you been in the fire department?
A year.
A year.
Yeah.
So you're kind of
sway is about that.
Okay. Yeah. That's gonna be. So if I were you, what I would do is I would just like stay low and keep it under the radar.
Might be a good idea.
If possible, I wouldn't even let them know what you're doing until you've done it, and then you can show them your amazing results.
Yeah.
Say, guys, look at that cholesterol, 220 down to 160 in 7 days.
Okay.
How you like them apples?
Yeah. I like the pun. I like the apples.
I like it.
I'm Keith Cash. I'm a captain with the Pittsburgh Bureau of Fire. I was curious to see what it's about. You know, I'm looking for a lifestyle change, if you will. You know, I'm overweight. You know, and out of shape. I would say I'm skeptical too, but you know, I'm gonna give it a try, man. You know, to be honest, it seems kind of weird to me. You know, all the beans and all that he was talking about. You know, how am I going to eat that for the rest of my life? Beans and greens and rice and, you know, no steaks and no ice cream and no cake, no cookies. I don't know, man. I'll give it a shot, though. You know.
What makes me skeptical? I've tried a lot of things before and back to where I am. So I'm looking for something that if I eat it, I know I'll like it, but will it sustain me to continue doing it? It looks easy enough to cook. I'm skeptical it's not going to be as easy as it says to fix the meals.
If it really fills me up, I'll love it. Also, lower my blood pressure also and regulate my blood sugar.
So, you know, the reactions that you just heard are completely normal. And what we find is that people usually come to us one of two ways. One, they're really excited, but they don't know where to begin. Or two, they get dragged kicking and screaming to us, and they really have no idea how to begin. But I want you to know that the hurdles that people have are universal, which means the solutions are universal as well. You're going to be hearing more from each of these Pittsburgh Challenge participants over the next few months. And let's see if their concerns were really the roadblocks they thought they were. So in Season 2 of the Plant Strong podcast, it is all about celebrating heroes. It is about celebrating people that have the heart of a hero, people who are going against the grain, who are creating a big swath that others can follow behind. People that are doing heroic things not only in their communities, but also with their individual health. And throughout the season, we're going to be targeting firefighters because these heroes, they absolutely deserve 100% our love and support. And they need rescuing from all the health hazards that they are exposed to day in and day out. If you've been a fan of cable news, my next guest is going to blow your lid off. Please tune in next week as I sit down with the iconic, the one and only, the former host of The Daily Show, Jon Stewart, and his incredible wife, Tracy Stewart. No one but nobody cares more about firefighters than Jon, and Tracy has truly become a force of nature in the plant-based movement. Together, they are living and loving the Plant Strong lifestyle. I can't wait for you to listen. Before we wrap up today, I want to personally invite you to sign up for our first Rescue 10X Tribe of 2020. It starts January 7th, and this online program is 100% dedicated to helping you start and sustain the daily habits needed to make real behavioral change. We want to help you stop the dieting cycle. If you've tried going plant-based and failed, or you've never tried because it just seemed too hard, our coaches and community are ready to help you be successful. Visit the resources page at plantstrong.com and register for Rescue 10X today. Use the code PLANTSTRONG for $50 off. Thank you for listening and subscribing to our show. I want you to know that we read each and every one of your reviews, and we appreciate each and every one. If you want to learn more about this season or today's guests and sponsors, please visit plantstrongpodcast.com. The Plant Strong podcast team includes Scott Badisil, Lori Kordowich, Amy Mackey, Patrick Gavin, Wade Clark, and Carrie Barrett. I want to thank my parents, Dr. Caldwell B. Esselstyn Jr. and Ann Kryl Esselstyn, for creating a legacy that will be carried on for generations and being willing to go against the current and trudge upstream to the causation. We are all better for it.